We're back from a long winter break. Men's and women's basketball teams back in action after the little bit of delays. We got a little bit of snow in Boulder, Colorado.
Yeah, just a little bit.
I think you could say that. Women coming off a 6-game losing streak, but we'll tell you later how much they came back against Kansas State for the W.
We got basketball, and more basketball.
All that
Sports Mag.
coming up.
Welcome back to CU Sports Mag, the first one of the spring semester. I'm Stephanie Collins.
And I'm Sean Hauser. The CU women's basketball team played host to the Wildcats of Kansas State on Tuesday. Could the Buffs contain the Wildcats and improve their record to 9-11? Only the highlights will tell. It's been 6 straight games since the Buffs have been in the win column here now at home against K-State. Jackie McFarland, little back step in the bucket. Buffs jumped to an early lead. Wildcats had no problem responding, however, as Ashley Sweat knocks down this 19-footer, and that's where things started going downhill for the Buffs. Jackie McFarland throws the ill-advised pass, picked off by Claire Coggin. She's going to take that all the way back for the easy bucket. Back down to the other end is Whitney Houston. She goes slip, sliding right her way to the glass. Nice jumper. Houston ended the night with a career-high 17 points. Later in the half, Buffs trying to cut down a 9-point deficit. Check out this hook shot by Kara Richards. That is straight out of Tim Duncan's playbook. She got skills. Buffs with the ball again. Whitney Houston doing what she does best. Yeah, she's Colorado, however, still down by 10, and this wouldn't help the Buffs out one bit. Claire Coggins with the pull-up and one jumper. You see here, I don't see much of a foul. In my opinion, it doesn't matter. Colorado, however, still down. K-State up 39-24 at half. Honey, here's the keys. Go warm up the car because this one's over. Well, that's wrong. The Buffs came out of the locker room looking like a completely different team led by none other than Whitney Houston. She was as hot as the other Whitney Houston in the movie Bodyguard. Don't you love that?
Love that.
Great. Claire Coggins with another three-pointer here. But that would be the last of scoring for the Wildcats for quite some time. From there, the Buffs went on an impressive 23-point run. Saying that K-State went flat would be quite an understatement. 0 for 12 with 6 turnovers.
Ouch.
That hurts bad. Colorado put on a clinic late in the second half and won by 11. 66-55 was the final score of this one. I'm beginning to think that the Toon Squad from Space Jam showed up at halftime to give the Buffs some Mike Secret stuff.
That's good stuff.
It works well. Here's what Coach Miller had to say after the come-from-behind victory over the Wildcats.
Expected to win as opposed to play to win. I mean, it was just a team that I hadn't seen.
It was, really?
And I never want to see again. I told them before they left the locker room, the last thing I told them, I know and believe in my heart and in my mind that they can outscore K-State by 15 in the second half. Bench got us started in the second half. The starters continued it, and probably one of the best defensive efforts coming back from down 15.
Coming off the bench is our team. We definitely have a lot of depth on our team, and I think coming off the bench is definitely something that I am strong in. And
Whitney brought a lot of energy to the floor beginning of the second half, and I think that translated on all of us. She pressured the ball. She got a couple of steals.
After coming off 5 losses, I think our confidence was a little bit down and it seemed like we were playing not to lose instead of playing to win. And after the first half and how bad it was being down 15, I think we came out and we played like we have been where we don't have anything to lose.
The women's basketball team took a trip to Missouri to try and tame the Tigers on Sunday. Jackie McFarland led Colorado with 19 points and 8 rebounds, including the only three-pointer for the Buffs. Whitney Houston added 10 points, and Kara Richards put up 6 to go along with 9 rebounds. But it wasn't enough. CU lost to Missouri 61-48. The Buffs made just 34% of their shots and were held to their lowest point total of the season. The loss marks the 5th straight for Colorado and the 10th consecutive road loss dating back to last season.
The men's basketball team headed down to Waco, Texas to take on the Baylor Bears. Colorado got off to a slow start and trailed the Bears by 23 at half. Xavier Silas led the Buffs in scoring with 23 points. Jeremy Williams and Richard Roby finished with 18 apiece. It wouldn't be enough, though, and the Buffs fell short, losing to Baylor 97-83. Come watch the Buffs Saturday at the Coors Event Center as they try to break their 7-game losing streak when they play Oklahoma State.
The men's basketball team fouled out last weekend against the University of Kansas Jayhawks. The Buffs currently hold a record of 1-7 in the Big 12. Richard Roby scored 30 points on the night, but that wasn't enough to make up for the team's 30 turnovers. Jermel Jackson-Wilson put up 11 points for the Buffs. Jackson-Wilson combined with Roby to steal the lead from the Jayhawks with 11:51 left. Xavier Silas tallied up 9 points and finished the night 7 of 10 at the stripe. This is the 35th loss to the Jayhawks in the past 36 meetings. Colorado's last win in Lawrence came on February 10th, 1983. I wasn't even born then.
Despite the men's basketball team's struggles this season, CU Athletic Director Mike Bone is sticking with his man. Head coach Ricardo Patton, already slated to step down at the end of the season, and has been catching a lot of flack recently. Fans and alumni alike have questioned why Patton hasn't been replaced with a temporary coach while they look for a successor. This year's Buffalo squad is quite young, with 8 freshmen on the team, and Bone is keeping the faith. The Buffs stand at 5-13 overall and 1-7 in the Big 12. Welcome to this week's trivia question. While club sports are usually... Oh, we'll have the trivia question after the break,
That'll be next. First, we're going to take a look and find out why 6 runners got kicked off the track team.
That should be interesting.
We'll be right back.
Cool.
Don't have to run away from me.
And we're not all that different.
I like good food, good music. I want a good job.
I want my kids to live in a world
and loved and respected for who they are.
You don't have to like me, but if you talk to me, we can end prejudice if we talk to each other.
Call. Tell us what you'd do.
Together we can build one America.
Look, there's a moose. Where? Over there. Oh, yeah. Look, over there. I see a fish. A fish with 2 stripes.
Spend time with kids anytime, and it helps prevent crime. It's that easy.
You know, we sing for millions of girls, but helping out in schools, that's the real deal, baby.
I know our love can multiply, 'cause you're the X and I'm the Y.
I'm the cute one, you know what I'm saying? So, have you ever been backstage before?
Okay, guys, this is an abacus, an old school calculator. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Like the circle and the square, our geometry is a perfect pair.
Now, why should kids know about gravity?
Well, gravity holds them down.
I once was 1, but now we're 2.
I'm spinning out of control.
Swear my love to you.
All right, welcome back. I can now reveal to you that trivia question. While club sports aren't usually covered by the media, 2005 was a particularly successful year for CU club athletes. 5 programs, triathlon, men's soccer, men's ice hockey, mountain biking, and road biking all won national championship titles.
The question is, in the past 12 years, how many national titles have the triathlon team won? The answer will come later in the show.
The Colorado track and field team blew away the competition with 3 first-place finishes at the Air Force Academy on Saturday. Throwers Courtney Hutmaker and Ryan Willis earned first-place honors in the weight throw and shot put. Runner Will Buchanan sped through the mile run in just over 4 minutes and 37 seconds to record his first career top finish. Also for CU, Ben Ryan finished 4th in the 800-meter run, and rookie Caitlin Kark threw for 5th place in the shot put. Next, the Buffs will host the Potts Indoor Invitational on Friday in the Botch Fieldhouse.
This week's Athlete of the Week is proving that miracles can happen when you believe. Women's basketball star Whitney Houston rallied the Buffs from a 39-24 halftime deficit against Kansas State earlier this week. Houston proved to be the difference maker with a career-high score and netting 28 points and 4 steals on her way to becoming CU Sports Mag's Athlete of the Week.
I wasn't even thinking about the career. I was just thinking about coming back and we was gonna win this game with all the hard work and the hustle. So I wasn't even worried about the career high. It don't matter. As long as we win the game. I mean, if I hit a career high and we lose, all that doesn't count. So long as we won. Just full court pressure like she told me to do, and that's what happened. I mean, when I scored the layup and then came back and she didn't know I was right there and stole the ball and then called a timeout, hit the floor, and the crowd got into it. That's what get me hyped, the crowd and my team. Saying, let's go, because I was like, we can do this. And that's what happened. I'm Whitney Houston, CU Sports Mag, Athlete of the Week.
The women's tennis team is creating quite a racket so far in the 2007 season. CU is 2-0 so far, including an upset victory over the number 34 ranked Arizona Wildcats. The Buffs, who are currently ranked 56th, beat the Wildcats 6-1 in Boulder last weekend. Buff Monica Maluski won her match 6-3, 6-4 to win at number 1 singles to give the Buffs a 3-1 lead. Freshman Camilla Balassi won at number 2 singles, and fellow freshman Melissa Esposito won at number 6. The lone Arizona point came when Buff Vera Nurmi lost at number 3. The Rackettes are on the road this weekend, taking on Mississippi State and Alabama.
Over the last 3 years, Facebook has exploded onto the college scene. However, many CU athletes are finding the new social network a detriment to their career. Our own David Billingsley has a story.
If you've ever been at the CU University Memorial Center or a computer lab in the library, you've probably walked by a few people checking their Facebook profile. The social networking website that was once only open to college students is now a free-for-all public site. Almost 20,000 new accounts are created each day, and some students can't get away from the computer.
2. Probably the max I've ever checked is like 10 times.
Okay.
Sometimes it's just like constantly on though, so I don't even like. It's just whenever I turn on my computer.
Facebook is also the #1 photo website, with over 2 million pictures being uploaded every day. But it was only a handful of photos that were needed to dismiss 6 CU track and field student athletes from the team, and suspend several others in January. According to the Daily Camera, the 6 student athletes took pictures toasting one another with what appears to be alcohol dressed in their CU apparel. Those pictures, one way or another, wound up in the hands of the athletic department. CU spokesman Bronson Hilliard confirmed that pictures on Facebook led to the punishment handed out by track and field coach Mark Wetmore.
Whenever disciplinary action is taken within any athletic program, the remaining students maybe then have a better sense of what's acceptable and what isn't.
Track and field coaches say they're moving past the incident and are looking forward to the upcoming season.
I don't really feel like it affects us that much. As far as my group, I'm looking at hopefully get a couple of school records.
A couple of track and field athletes already have set school records this year.
We're very excited about our new sprinter, a transfer in this year, actually a Denver guy who was at another school for a year but is here now, a guy named Jeremy Dotson. He's already broken the Balch Fieldhouse record for the 200 meters. He's the fastest thing that's been on this campus for a really long time.
Dotson has also been named CU Athlete of the Week twice in a row this year. With the team's morale as high as ever and shining stars throughout the roster, the track and field team is looking to capture the same success as teams of the past. I'm David Billingsley, CU Sports Mag.
I'm joined now with David Billingsley, who followed that story. David, got a couple questions for you. First of all, do we know who these athletes are that were kicked off?
Well, Sean, right now we don't know specifically who these athletes are. We know that 6 were kicked off the team and that several others were suspended, but the university is not allowed to tell us who those athletes were because of a privacy act.
So by kicked off, they're done, or is just a very long suspension?
Well, it makes me think that if there are going to be some who are suspended and some that are kicked off, that those who are kicked off are done for. All the students are still enrolled in the school, though. We know that for sure.
Okay, so this all came from Facebook, which is obviously used by athletes all over the school. Is this going to affect other sports, or is this just going to stop right here?
Yeah, Sean, it's already been affecting some teams. Last December in 2005, an offensive guard for a CU football team and his girlfriend on the cross-country team had a little problem with Facebook when they were sending racist emails. I'm sure we remember that story. So it's already been a problem, and it's just something that student athletes need to be careful about.
That's too bad. So we don't know who the players are, but real quickly, can you tell me, is there anything else to look forward to this team?
Yes, Jeremy Dotson, like Coach Mark Wetmore said, he's a great sprinter. And also, the team's taking it kind of easy in the indoor season. They only want to do a couple meets, but the outdoor season in May is really what they're looking forward to.
All righty, David, thanks for joining us, and thank you for the story. Thanks. Coming up next, we will have a little bit of Super Bowl double team for you. Stephanie's going to take it away.
It's only a little motor oil.
What difference is one drop of paint going to make?
This much fertilizer isn't going to pollute anything.
You're looking at a sea of excuses, created drop by people like you and me. Our waters can be saved if each of us does their part. Drop by drop. If we all do a little, we can do a lot. Brought to you by the Natural Resources Defense Council, the EPA, and the Ad Councils of the U.S. and Japan. One out of every 4 babies is not fully immunized. Your child could get a deadly disease. Get all your baby's shots before age 2. You gave them life. Protect it.
Sad. Looking back now, the things you go through in life. Scary. The worst thing about being on welfare was at Christmas time. I couldn't get my kids what they really wanted. I had to get a better life for my girls and myself. I got off welfare. I got a good job. Makes me the happiest mother in the world. I live for my girls.
We're not asking you to hire everyone on welfare, just one.
Hi, I'm here to talk to you about why you shouldn't smoke. The first and most important reason is that we have proof that it can kill you, and I want you to live a long time. Secondly, I want you to be popular. If you smoke, not only do you smell bad, but your smoking will bother other people, say at parties or in the halls at school. So if you don't smoke now, don't start. And if you do, try quitting. You'll live longer. Thanks.
We're fighting for your life.
Welcome back. Stephanie is standing by now, over with Jeff McAdams and Adam Logan. They're going to give a little talk and ask questions about Super Bowl.
Right, welcome to Double Team. We're here with Sports Mag's own Super Bowl experts, Adam Logan and Jeff McAdam. We have a couple questions for him, so let's get started. What player will have the biggest impact in Super Bowl 41?
Clearly, it's going to be Adam Vinatieri. He's been the key impact player in the last 3 Super Bowls, winning it on clutch field goals in the last minute of each one of those. I think he's going to be the deciding factor, and if he can play hard, if he plays well like he always does, they're going to win.
Yeah, Jeff, that's an interesting call, but I think the impact players are going to be the Chicago Bears running backs. Thomas Jones and Cedric Benson, if they can run the ball, they're going to keep Peyton Manning off the field, keep that clock moving, and put some points on the board for the old Bears.
Right, which Rex Grossman will show up to this week's game?
Well, Rex Grossman has a bad habit of being bad a lot. But I think if he can even show up a little bit this game and keep the ball in the Bears' hands and not have so many turnovers, Jeff, that the Bears could have a good chance of winning this game.
Hey, Adam, if you want to crown him, then crown him, okay? I mean, we've seen him against Arizona. We know what he's capable of doing. But I think if he's anything better than mediocre, they're going to probably come away with this win. You know, as a Colts fan, I hope against it, but they look pretty good.
Will Peyton Manning have a post-Patriots hangover and struggle on the world's biggest stage, or will he do well?
You know, I don't know about that one, Steph. I think that Peyton Manning's long since been, you know, one of those guys that reacts well to under pressure situations. Just like the Boston Red Sox came through and beat the Yankees finally. They went on and swept the World Series. I think finally beating the Patriots now, they're going to go on and take the Super Bowl.
Well, that's an interesting comparison going back with the Red Sox. But you know what? Until Peyton Manning wins the big game, he's always going to have that pressure to win it because he's in the same category as Dan Marino. Great quarterback, never won the big one. And until he does it, he's going to have to prove me wrong and win against the Bears this weekend.
Okay, I have a few lighter questions for you. First one, how did Tank Johnson get his nickname?
Well, Tank Johnson is a big fella, for those of you who don't know. I think he got it back in the day playing middle school football with his schoolmates, and he was just too big to take down, so they called him Tank. Just a guess.
You know, it's a good guess. Unfortunately, I know it's incorrect because actually I grew up with Tank Johnson. No, that's a lie. But you know, back in the day, he was actually called Tiny Dancer back in the middle school days. So this is a way to rebuff his image and become more of a masculine figure in the NFL.
I think it works.
Yeah, I think so. I think it does.
All right, Peyton Manning's an okay-looking guy, but if he were a cartoon character, which one would he be?
I don't know, Adam. Adam, I think he's going to have to be Shrek on this one. I mean, the baby ears, the misshaped head, it's all too familiar. All too familiar symptoms, and I think if you had to pick one, hands down, Shrek. Shrek.
Peyton Manning definitely is a goofy-looking guy, much like Shrek. However, I think Peyton Manning would be Wile E. Coyote because he is crafty, he's good at what he does, but things just don't seem to work out for him. And I really see that being a foreshadow to this week's game against the Bears.
Ooh.
He's going to play well, but it's just not going to be quite enough.
Insightful.
All right, a 30-second commercial spot for the Super Bowl costs $2.6 million. What would you spend the money on?
I'd probably buy that mansion that we're looking at right now. That's $2.6 million to spend on 30 seconds of advertisement is a ridiculous amount of money, and I hope they're good.
Hey, 2.6 mil is like chump change to me, so I don't even know what I do with it. I'd probably donate the first mil to the the poor kids in Africa.
You're a good guy.
That's how I roll. I probably it's like nothing, so I'm used to it. All that good stuff. So
right.
Well,
how do you feel about the 6'5", 230-pound quarterback with the laser rocket arm?
That guy's good. He's really good. That's a hilarious commercial. It was one of the few Peyton Manning commercials that made me laugh. And I think he's going to have a good game, but I just don't think he's going to win it for him.
Yeah. Can I say wow, Adam? This guy's like half amazing, 3/4 fantastic. I think that any girl would love to be with a guy like this.
3/4 fantastic.
Yeah. Clearly, we're all in school here.
That is an interesting statistic you have.
All right. Finally, who wins this Sunday?
I'm gonna have to go with the Bears. If they can run the ball with their running backs, the Colts' run defense has gotten better during the playoffs. But I just think that the Bears' offense is just a little bit too strong. They're going to be able to wear him down, and they're going to keep Peyton Manning off the field. I think Bears are going to win 28-24.
Adam, there's a reason why I'm rocking the blue today. It's going to be the Colts, clearly. The Bears, obviously one of the best defenses of all time, arguably. But I think if the Colts can have a good defense like they've had the last few postseason games, I think they have an unbelievable chance at, pulling this one off.
All
right, Adam and Jeff, thank you for giving us your insight on the Super Bowl, and we'll send it back over to the desk, which I will be at.
6'5", 230-pound quarterback, laser rocket arm. Peyton Manning, if you don't work out in football, I'm sure you've got a career in acting. Thanks for that, guys. Coming up next, find out what ex-CU athlete is back on campus.
Well, this is the picture we think our neighborhood looks like. A land where there's not a lot of
after-school program that develops children's artistic skills is about to lose its funding. The alternative, a spray can. Whose side are you on? We know dozens of ways you can keep valuable programs like this functioning in your community. We're fighting for the children. Whose side are you on?
The National Committee to Prevent Child Abuse has some very simple beliefs. They believe that children have a right to be safe, cared for, nourished, and loved. Simple. They also believe that child abuse can be prevented before it ever occurs. I think they're on to something. To find out more, call the National Committee to Prevent Child Abuse. 1-800-55-NCPCA. Preventing child abuse. What a great idea.
When you buy disposable and overpackaged products for your home, you're really saying, I'm fine with depleting natural resources. Pollute our air and water. Energy? Wasted. People tell you, hey, go for less packaging. Check out reusables. Buy stuff in bulk. Well, you tell them, no thanks. I'd rather throw it all away. Buy smart. Waste less. Save more.
Trivia question, but first the question again. In the past 12 years, how many national titles has the triathlon team won? The answer? 11. 11 national titles in just 12 years. Congratulations to the triathlon team on this impressive achievement.
Well, the secret is out. The Colorado football team struggled a little this season, but back when the only football most of us knew of came in the form of a Nintendo, the Buffs did win a national title thanks to an extra down and a quarterback named Charles Johnson. I caught up with the old QB to see what he's been up to lately. The Colorado football program has seen many great quarterbacks in its 116-year history. Guys like Bobby Anderson in the 60s, or even Darian Hagan and Cordell Stewart in the 80s and 90s. But there's only one who holds just a little extra weight on his right hand. Charles Johnson may be well known for the famous fifth down play against Missouri. His teammates have even gone on to give him the nickname of Fifth Down. But with the national championship and an Orange Bowl MVP on his resume, here at CU, Charles is simply a legend. And that legend is back on campus.
I tell you what, it's certainly a pleasure being back. CU is one of the great institutions in the nation. I've just had the privilege of participating here as a young student athlete, graduating, getting a degree from one of the best colleges in the country, and now having an opportunity to serve these young student athletes here now.
Charles spends his days now on the sideline reporting for 850 KOA radio, standing just outside the huddle that he himself used to manage 16 years ago.
You know, it's just great. Again, I'm one of the luckiest guys in the world to be able to do that. And you're right. You know, the fine line between being a fan and broadcasting games is one that I find myself on either side of at any given moment.
And when the football season wraps up and winter rolls in, you can find him here at the Coors Event Center doing the radio broadcast for the men's basketball games with Mark Johnson.
Right side, Williams for three. Follow jam by Wilson as he springs off the hard one and slams it down with two hands.
Wow, Jamel Jackson Wilson, the guy just jumps it. He's like a kangaroo. He gets off the ground as quick as anyone in college basketball, man.
He's a guy that's got a special place in Colorado lore. You know, the fifth down, coming in for Darian Hagan in the national championship game in the Orange Bowl against Notre Dame and being named the MVP.
But that's still not all. Charles also works out of Gate 1 on the opposite side of college athletics as an assistant athletic director, a place where he sees himself in the future.
My goal is to be an athletic director one day.
Charles Johnson may be done throwing game-winning touchdowns here at the University of Colorado, but what better mentor could a young student athlete have than a guy who has already been through it all? Sean Hauser, CU Sportsman.
Next Saturday, future buffs will get the chance to match skills with CU women athletes in celebration of National Girls and Women in Sports Day. Starting at noon, the CU ladies will guide kids 8th grade and younger through various challenges at the Coors Event Center. The first 500 boys and girls to dribble, swing, and run through the door will get a free t-shirt. Later on, kids will get the chance for an autograph from CU's star women athletes and coaches. After the festivities, the CU women's basketball team will try to shuck the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
In club sports, the CU swimming and diving team visited Colorado College for the Colorado Classic meet. The Buffs scored a second-place finish overall against the teams from Nebraska and Texas and in Colorado. In diving, sophomore Jake Levin won the men's high dive event. Junior Piers Blith won the men's 1650-meter freestyle with a time of 17 minutes, 35.86 seconds. Sophomore Taylor Blight scored a hat trick, taking first place in the 100, 200, and 500-meter freestyle. The Buffs hit the road again in April for nationals in Virginia.
All right, coming up this weekend, there will be back-to-back home games for men's and women's basketball. Come support the men's team as they face Oklahoma State at 2 p.m. on Saturday. The women's team will also be playing this weekend as they take on Texas Tech at 7 p.m.
Be sure to stick around for a special halftime performance by the CU Buff Gold Dance Team Friday and Saturday. You can watch the ski team at the Denver Invitational, and the events will last all day. Come show your Buff pride and don't miss out on this exciting weekend events.
Thank you for joining us on CU Sports Mag. I'm Stephanie Collins.
And I'm Sean Hauser. That's all we've got for you today. Thanks for joining us.
Excuse me. Do you wear your safety belt?
Why, no. I don't wear my safety belt.
Thank you.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.